could you please elaborate on why sprouts are not recommended? I mean, there are some Ayurvedic products, especially food products in the market, they say as I mean, it contains sprouts rich in protein and all, whereas there are many references in Ayurveda saying sprouts are okay for once in a while, but not on a daily basis. Can you please elaborate on this topic, sir?
See, definitely, you can observe the nature. Nowhere the sprout materials or something like that, it is consumed by other insects or even the ants or something like that. Very typically, sprouts are not good to human body. Maybe they are difficult to digest or they may cause some adverse effect onto the body. Very typically, what we are understanding is at the time of germination, it is almost just something like that giving birth. So there will be some chemicals produced in order to protect the offspring. Just like how in higher animals also, during the time of delivery and later in the early part of life, the breast milk contains a lot of immunoglobulins. Those immunoglobulins are in order to protect the immunity of the young child or the offspring. So similarly, in such a manner, while there is a germination, there may be certain chemicals released in that sprouts, which may be helping the sprout to develop as a new plant. At that time, we are trying to eat them, and this is maybe going to cause against our system, and it may even harm us. Probably because of these reasons, Acharya has very clearly said not to eat these sprouts on a regular basis or avoid it as well as possible, and they ban it as Virudadhanya. But still people are using it just simply because during this time it will be having more rich protein, rich another amino acid or something like that. Just because certain things are rich in there, it won't get absorbed to our body. If it is only absorbed to our body, if our body has a sufficient type of Agni, which are readily help in digestion of those things. So based on those observations, might have our acharyas has very clearly pointed out, don't consume the sprouts on a regular basis. That's what I can say here. Just because simply which has a rich in calcium, or rich in potassium, or rich in something as a nutrient, just consume it. Go on giving any number of nutrients doesn't make any sense until unless it is get easily absorbed, digested and absorbed to the body. And that process requires Agni, and you require a proper Agni to handle all those things.
There are 2 points in which, in your narration, that I'd like to pick up. It is like that the sprouting stage is like some new life is getting its shape, or some new thing is being born. At that time, using that looks very unethical. I mean, at least in our like Hindu customs and all. I mean, when we were children, we used to play and we used to, shoo away the ants or kill ants, etc. But we were taught by our parents that whenever these ants are carrying egg or some food material, not to kill the ants, because they are like, it is just their livelihood, or they're following the nature. So just when a new life is coming to this world, it's not so, it doesn't look very ethical, be it plants or even animal. That's why probably pregnant animals are not killed for meat.
See, totally, if you observe, Ayurveda has spoken a lot about the guna karma or qualities of various materials in this universe. You can go to any meat, they've explained its qualities, they explained the qualities of urine, they explained the qualities of milk, they explained various shukadhanyas, various shimpidhanyas, and so many things they have explained. If definitely these virudadhanyas or the sprouts are really good, whether our acharyas were not knowing about this and they will explain it, I can't accept that, because our acharyas have done a thorough examination of whatever was available in this universe, and everything they have quoted in the form of Rasaguna Virya Vipaka and its utility. In such a condition, when they say it is to be avoided, it should be avoided. Very clearly, Acharya said it should be avoided, particularly from the Shukadhanya and Shamidhanya, all those something which is in the form of sprouting nature or sprouts, that should be avoided, and that is not good for that time. Only during that sprouting time it is not good. But same Shukadhanya or Shamidhanya, it is said, asked to consume by soaking it before it sprouts, or it can be taken in without soaking it. So all these things are very clearly I am understood there can when these drugs or these dravyas should be used and when they are beneficial to us.
So and also, I mean, sprouting is a time in which like one form of energy which is stored in the seeds or grains is getting converted into the another form, and it's like that energy is in its transition stage, or nutrition is in kind of a transition stage. Whereas for the mainly for many dhanyas, it is told that most of the grains like rice, wheat, etc., they are told in Ayurveda to be consumed only when they are at least 1 year old. There is this famous sloka, Vina Vedanga Krishna Bhyam Gudadanyajya Makshikai, meaning these are the things which should not be used new. So, probably idea behind that is that the nutrition, the nutrients need to kind of settle down in these grains, and only then it becomes like it will be well digested and absorbed by the body in the 1 year old grains, whereas in the sprouts it is just in the stage of transition from one form to the other form. Probably that's not good for health.
See, typically, if you are observed that if you eat jackfruit, wherein inside there will be seed, and if that seed is not sprouted, then the jackfruit's taste is entirely different. And soon after rainy season, when these jackfruits are available in the market, and anytime you see that when you open the pulp, then inside there will be seed is sprouted. During that time, you observe the taste will be somewhat bad and even sweetness also reduced. It's a very typically when something is sprouting, it naturally its rasaguna vipaka gets lowered and which is not suitable to the body, and during that time it should not be consumed. Probably because of this reason, Acharyas very clearly they said Viruda Dhanya avoid it.
Last point on this, like I have collected a few references here and there where this Viruda Dhanya or germinated seeds are to be avoided. Kankude Sutsana 8th chapter, foods that should not be consumed habitually, meaning on a daily basis. Germinated grains, dried vegetables, etc. So there, germinated things are told. Charasamhita Sutasana 18th chapter, eating germinated corn when the digestion strength is weak, especially after Panchakarma, can lead to inflammatory disorders. And then there is Charak Samhita Chikasana Pranakamiya chapter. This is Rasayana anti-aging therapy chapter. There, Viruda Nava Shuka Shami Dhanyas, germinated, sprouted cereals and pulses, can cause diseases and defects in the body. And there is Chikasana 14th chapter, excess consumption of sprouted corns and pulses can lead to aggravation of apana vata, and it can also be a causative factor for arsha. Basically, I mean, talking about the health related effects, how it affects the body, probably agni and apana vata are the most which take the hit, sir.
The first thing is it's Agni, Samana Vayu, then comes the Apanavata. So all these will be disturbed, and once Agni is disturbed and Vata is disturbed, it can disturb so many things in the body, because all Agni, Pitta and even Kapha and all the dhatus, everything are under the influence of Vata for movement inside the body from one place to other. If Vata is disturbed and it starts moving in a different direction, then typically the nutrient material or whatever it is, where it is expected to reach, that area it won't reach, and it will occupy somewhere and cause a lot of problems, and obstruction to the path of Vata will leads to karmahani, then there will be leads to neuropathies, and so many complications will arise. First one will be, it will be gastrointestinal tract, and related with that is Mahasrotas will be disturbed, and later the things will pass on that information and that contribution of those materials into further into other systems, and multiple other systems will also get afflicted with this.
Yes, sir. Yeah, probably we have answered that sprout question